Another casualty today, and this time it's local. A vape shop has announced that they will be closing their doors at the end of the month. Now, this is due to the misinformation that's been being put out in the news, and it's essentially just the government trying to scare people away from vaping so that they can actually either stay on cigarettes or go back to cigarettes. Now, it's all too common to be blaming all of these illnesses on vaping. However, just like the needle cannot be blamed for the overdose, the vaping product cannot be blamed for these illnesses. It just can't happen. Now, Robert Redfield, director of the Center for Disease Control, says the CDC is committed to finding out what is causing this outbreak and that we need to protect our nation from this serious health threat. Now, it is a serious health threat, but it's not from vaping. A news article published by NBC News on Friday, September 27, states that they conducted their own investigation and tests. 86% of the samples obtained from illicit sources in California were found to contain the vitamin E acetate, and 100% of the products tested for pesticides came back positive for myclobutanil, a fungicide that's a precursor for hydrogen cyanide. Now, where else do we see cyanide? Cigarettes. Cyanide is one of the 7,000 chemicals that's found in tobacco smoke. So why did they only test THC cartridges, and why is the CDC not being transparent about this? Now, in an interview with Michael B. Siegel from the Boston University School of Public Health, he explains that the CDC is responsible for putting out clinicians' warnings. They have public warnings, which you've seen in the news, but they also have clinicians' warnings, which is essentially advice that they give to health practitioners, which outlines exactly what needs to be done if patients come in with these types of symptoms. Now, in that warning, they included 3 instructions. Make sure that you report any of these cases to the CDC, ask the patient what they've been vaping, not a leading question at all, and try to get samples. Now, the one thing that they didn't mention, which Michael said was a glaring omission, is that nowhere in the warning did they advise the healthcare practitioners to test the patients for THC. Now, this could be a simple urine test because THC is detectable in the urine for up to 4 weeks after a person stops using. Maybe they're waiting for at least 4 weeks so that they can rule it out. Maybe not. Guess we'll have to wait and see. But this is important because 16% of the people who claim to only use nicotine products are youth under the age of 18 who would probably not be upfront about purchasing illicit THC products on the street. Now, this is the only way that they can know for sure what is causing this or what the person was using. Now, the fact that the CDC is not making that recommendation tells us that they do not want to know. Because if they did, they would be recommending that, not even recommending, they would be demanding that every single patient be tested as they do in any other situation like this. By not doing so, they are ensuring that we cannot tie all of the cases to THC. In fact, that leaves a door open for them to say, okay, well, not all of the patients were using THC, so we think that traditional e-cigarettes may still be involved. Now, honestly, they're doing this intentionally to leave the door open so that they can continue to demonize the vaping industry. Now, this is standard fear-mongering. They've done it before, they're doing it now, and they will do it again. Tobacco sales volumes dropped 11.2% in the 4 weeks ending in May 18th, and total sales dropped 6.9%. Not only is that up from 0.9% in the first quarter of 2018, but they have now declined for 18 consecutive months. Shares of Altria, the company who bought into Juul, were down 5%, and British American tobacco traded in the US fell 4%. Now, the first case of the THC-related illness was reported in April. Does that not seem oddly coincidental to any of you? So, Altria bought that 35% into Juul, and then Juul, they replaced the CEO with a tobacco executive named Casey Crossway. Well, Juul has been the sole significant source of funding for the campaign to vote yes on Proposition C in San Francisco. Prop C was an attempt to make it legal to sell vaping-related products again after the city banned all e-cigarettes back in June. They have spent $19 million so far since June to try and reverse that terrible decision, and then all of a sudden yesterday, Juul announces that they're pulling their funding and will no longer be trying to reverse that decision. The FDA already made a statement weeks ago And in that statement, they ruled out nicotine as the cause for these illnesses and specifically told us to stay from illicit THC sources. So now we know that 0 people have ever died from vaping nicotine. That's telling us that vaping is less harmful than the sugar that we eat every day. Yes, there was a spike in youth vaping of 25%, but that's because youth smoking actually plummeted 25% for the first time ever. Now, the government is not only trying to ban these substances, but they're letting big tobacco tighten up their death grip on smokers and potentially vapors who have already quit and now have to turn back to smoking cigarettes. Flavored e-cigarettes have already been banned now in Michigan, New York, and Rhode Island. Massachusetts banned the sale of all, that's right, all e-cigarettes overnight, leaving businesses and ex-smokers with no options. There was even a case of police going into a shop and confiscating all of the store's inventory because it's now contraband. Now, this isn't about saving my business. If my shop closes down, I will find something else to do. No, this is actually about saving lives. It's about saving the 200 children that will die from smoking, saving the 1,300 people that die every goddamn day, and saving the single best opportunity that we've had to get rid of the cigarette in 120 years. Now, we need to get this information out to the public, and we're trying to get to 100 subscribers so that we can get a custom URL and slap it on a massive billboard and throw it out in a very, very busy street. This will give everybody access to the truth so that everyone can stay informed. So please share this video with your friends, your family, and even strangers in the street. And together we can win this fight. So let's share the truth and let's save our youth. And finally, remember, we don't blow smoke. Thank you.